Breaking news. The media got it all wrong about the $4,000 gold price. Let's hear from CBS. What did they get a little bit right, but what did they mostly get wrong?
Now to this, the price of gold hit a record high of more than $4,000 an ounce. The milestone comes as investors seek a safe haven to park their money with so much global uncertainty.
I'd like to thank my new channel sponsor, Summit Metals. I recently placed an order and got a great price on a random year fractional gold coin. And not only that, I got silver for spot. Follow the link below to Summit Metals to get some great prices. And if you're getting the silver for spot price as a first-time customer, add the coupon code SILVERHEIST.
CBS News' own gold standard correspondent, Ramy Inocencio, knows all about this and joins us now. Ramy, it's so rare we get to chuckle on our story, so I had to squeeze that in there this morning. Good morning to you, but how significant is this milestone, and why are we hitting it now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just got to say, Errol, I wish that I had been invested in gold. Looking at it right now, $4,056 a troy ounce, rising even higher today. But, you know, that $4,000 level is historic. But I have to remind people that this is actually not something to cheer, not something to smile about, because people run to gold when things are going bad. And this year, investors have been sprinting to it. Case in point, take a look at the times when gold hit each around $1,000 milestone. The first was back in 2008. That was the GFC, the global financial crisis. The U.S. housing bubble had burst, stocks plunged, people ran to gold, and then gold broke $2,000 in the year 2020. So 12 years later, this was COVID times, global economy again slowed down. People, we all couldn't buy things, right? Because everything was just at a standstill. Then, just earlier this year, gold broke $3,000. This was in March, again because of economics and politics. Inflation high, we know, not going away. We're still getting hit by it. The U.S. dollar weakening, Trump's global tariffs throwing more gas to that uncertainty. And then now, here we are today, $4,000, thanks to the U.S. government shutdown happening over the past week. Also, we're looking ahead to expectations that the Fed will keep cutting rates this year, perhaps 2 rate cuts. The dollar will then weaken, and that makes gold actually more attractive. Other global currencies like in the Eurozone and over in Asia, the Japanese yen are also weaker, so that makes it more attractive. So this acceleration of gold is what we're seeing in this century. 12 years from 1,000 to 2,000, 5 years to get to 3,000, 7 months to 4,000. This is a barometer of anxiety and fear, and there is a lot of it out there.
So important to put that in recent historical context. Ramy Inocencio, always great to see you. Thanks so much.
Welcome to Silver Heist. Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. If you like gold or silver or a coin with a good story, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Other than about a year ago, when Costco began selling gold bars and coins, the media has not shown any interest in the gold price or the gold story. But now that gold is breaking $4,000 an ounce, there's 2 things that I'm noticing. The first is the over-politicizing the price increase, rather than the bipartisan agreement to deficit spend year after year. Gold is up. Let's blame Trump. Let's continue the chaos story. Let's blame the tariffs for the spring increase. Let's blame the government shutdown for the fall increase. Not the Fed politicizing interest rate cuts or holding back cuts or timing the cuts. Not the federal government getting the job counts wrong, or the bipartisan agreement to increase the debt or continue to print money. Let's blame Trump. That's one thing to notice about how the media covers a story, the horse race. When it's a year-long or decades-long issue, they did get the increase correct in terms of the speed from breaking 1,000, then 2,000, then 3,000, then 4,000. The triggers they mention are definitely part of the story, but there's a little too much emphasis on the short-term triggers instead of the multi-year path. The other thing that I found interesting is the careful what you wish for warning, that the gold increasing means the system is breaking. Well, that is breaking news to the media. The other thing to notice about the media is the emphasis on it being an investment, a short-term increase, timing this spot price increase for short-term thinking. So the above was from CBS, but what did Bloomberg say? Because here's where it gets interesting. The similar language or emphasis on the same talking points, but a little something extra from Bloomberg.
What a momentum trade for the yellow metal. Gold has now risen, Tom, over 20% since the dovish shift from the Fed back in Jackson Hole back in August. In just 6 weeks, added 20%, crossing 4,000 for the first time ever. It crossed 1,000 during the monumental Fed easing during the GFC. It crossed 2,000 during the COVID pandemic when the government started sending out stimulus checks. It crossed 3,000 on Trump tariffs and the worries back in April, now notching 4,000 for the first time ever on perhaps, as Ray Dalio mentioned, a diversification trade away from the U.S. dollar. But Tom, if you look back on the winning trades this century, gold really takes the crown. You might as well have just turned off your Bloomberg terminal, shoved it all into gold and opened it back up today. But gold has really outperformed since this century. And the interesting thing about the session yesterday is that gold is rising, even if the equity market is up or down, even if Bitcoin is up or down. Very interesting to see that both Bitcoin and the S&P 500 were in the red yesterday, but it didn't stop gold from notching another 1% gain. We've actually now snapped that winning streak for the S&P 500. It was on a 7-day winning streak that ended yesterday on the worries, as you mentioned, around the tech trade. But look, it has added 16 trillion since the lows in April. Ray Dalio, as we heard from there, did call the market frothy. But Tom, it's really hard to turn these momentum trades around in a substantial way with the lack of government data in order to change the needle on the narrative.
So just like CBS, Bloomberg covers the velocity of the milestones, the 1,000, the 2,000, the 3,000, and the 4,000, interprets the triggers mostly in the same politicizing way, also makes an emphasis with gold as an investment. But here's where they go a little further. They talk more about the short-term trade, a momentum trade, a new story in the media about the dollar debasement trade, as others have been discussing. So long-term trend for gold, but now that it's a game or a momentum trade or a get-rich-quick scheme, it's the debasement investment strategy story. Surefire way to inject some fear of missing out into the buyers, inflate the prices only to deflate the short-term bubble which they're creating. Shake out the weak hands, get some late arrivals, boost the price, get some late arrivals or maybe longer-term holders to sell after there's a price correction. And then I believe the gold price will continue upwards again. Not investment advice, but my attitude is to hold. Add now, add later, hold more, hold longer. Buy now, buy the dip, and then hold longer yet again. Let us know your thoughts on whether you're excited that the media is now covering our story about gold and silver and the new record high prices. Or does it make you a little bit nervous that they might have a certain story that they want to distort? Please give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.